He has spoken to NASEO a few times. As you know, he has has a long history of accomplishments, including working across the aisle and working in a bipartisan fashion. Prior to becoming governor, prior to becoming senator, he was governor. Served 2 terms as governor, focused on economic development and job creation. But prior to that, he also served in the private sector, developing alternative energy sources, and so has just been across New England. Has just been a great partner, a great senator for the state of Maine, and so it is my pleasure to welcome Senator Angus King to NASEO.
I want to welcome the state energy officials from around the country to Portland, Maine for your annual conference. A couple of pieces of advice before we get into talking about energy. Number 1, while you're here, try to get out on the water. Go down to the Casco Bay Ferry Line service and take a $1 million tour of Casco Bay. If you come to Maine and don't get out on the water, you're really missing something special. The second thing, of course, is you can go 25 miles up the road to Freeport, to LL Bean. Freeport, by the way, is probably the most inappropriately named town in America, but there's a lot of fun shopping there. It's a great place. Get out and explore the region a bit. You're in one of the country's most special places, and we're delighted to have you here. I'm also delighted with your mission. I've been involved in energy pretty much all my adult life, one way or another, and I just feel that what you're doing right at this moment is so critically important. We're at an inflection point. We're at a turning point in terms of the energy makeup of this country. We're going green. We're going fossil free. We're moving away from the energy sources that have powered this country for 100+ years and going to a new future. It's not going to be easy. It's going to involve some serious investment, but it's also going to involve some serious thinking. Our governor, for example, put together really a great team of people from across the state to develop a climate action plan. And the important thing is to start with the planning, the thinking, the looking outside of all of our daily jobs and occupations. And I think that's a good model for any place in the country to be thinking about how we take the next step. There's a lot going on here in Congress. My own special sort of focus is on storage. I think the key to a green energy future, to a fossil-free energy future, is storage. Solar and wind have made enormous strides. They've come down in cost. They're now very much cost competitive. But the only issue, as you all know, is intermittency. You got to be sure the lights go on a windless, cold night in January. So storage is really the biggest part of the answer. And that's where Congress has come in with some really significant investments. This is still an R&D project. We need grid scale storage. That's number 1. It has to be big. And number 2, it has to be for longer than 5 minutes or 2 minutes or a few hours. It's got to be days in duration in order to provide adequate backup. So that's, to me, a research function. And you all know that there's a lot of work going on this all over the country. The Clean Power Plan that the president has proposed in the infrastructure bill depends a lot on the development of storage alternatives. The other thing that's engaged all of our interest is expansions and modernization of the grid. In order to move more power where we're onto an electrification future, we're going to have to be able to have the grid respond to those needs. And that means regional transmission. It means stronger transmission within states and between states, and that's going to be a big part of the next decade as we get ready for an electrified future. So this is a period of enormous change, but enormous opportunity, and that's why I think it's so exciting that you're getting together here in Portland. Abraham Lincoln once was asked what he would do if he was given an hour to split a cord of wood, and his answer was, I'd spend the first 15 minutes sharpening my axe. Well, that's what you're doing. If you think about it, that's a very profound answer. Most of us would just start chopping.